So on the left, we have Luca, and on the right we have Alex. It's gonna be on the left side, Incineroar, Tapu Fini, Groudon, Kangaskhan, Xerneas, and Cresselia yet again.
Yeah, and then Alex is using Rayquaza, Kyogre, Incineroar, Tapu Koko, Celesteela, and Metagross. So we've got another Cresselia on the field, and that's exciting. Again, like we mentioned earlier in round one, Cresselia has really fallen off in popularity a lot this year. So it's really interesting to see that two players, at least so far today, are running that.
Yeah, as we see Celesteela on the right side too, it's not a very common mon to see again. We did see Wolf take
Yeah, we did see
NAIC
Wolf
with
win
it.
the like you said. So the more interesting thing than Celesteela is the fact that Alex has chosen to bring two steel types.
Yeah.
With the Groudon rising in popularity right now, it's a little risky to bring some steals. Of course, Alex does have that Kyogre to protect them from fire, but it really shows, like kind of how cautious he wants to be of Xerneas. He's got two things to resist it and hit it for a lot of damage.
Especially seeing after round one, we saw Xerneas be so powerful that it looks like Alex is being more cautious of that.
Right. And so, we're jumping into game, or, the first turn here. So we're going to be seeing what the players do. The other thing I just wanted to mention was Alex running, potentially two Megas with both Ray and Metagross, So sometimes that can kind of limit what you choose to bring. So we do see Luca leading with Xerneas and Cresselia. Meanwhile, Alex going ahead and leading with his Metagross and Primal Kyogre.
Yeah, it's very interesting too to see Kyogre come out at the full front, especially since Luca can just switch in his Groudon and pressure. So I feel like as a Rayogre player myself that the mind games come in here. Do I switch out my Metagross into Rayquaza turn 1, just in case he switches in Groudon to knock out the Groudon coming in, or do I just stay in and just go for like a Water Spout?
Right, so Alex can't just freely click Water Spout here, because there is, of course, the threat of the Groudon switch-in, like you said. But also, Luca, Xerneas doesn't want to be facing down a Metagross, especially if that's a Mega Metagross. That's going to deal a lot of damage. It'll be interesting, Cresselia could have some options to help support, the Xerneas,
yeah.
But it's not an Amoonguss. It doesn't have Follow Me or.
Exactly.
So we do see, no switches or anything. Ironhead coming straight out
and not knocking out the.
Oh, that is so unfortunate.
And the Water Spout picking up, just gonna knock out that Xerneas and do roughly a little over 50% to that Cresselia. That was a big turn from Alex here, and we do see Trick Room set up, but that Xerneas does go down. So I'm not sure what Luca was thinking here, especially setting up Trick Room and having Xerneas out. So
not all is lost. Obviously, like Trick Room is coming up here, and a Groudon's on the field. So now we're shutting down the damage from this Kyogre. And Metagross does not want to face this Groudon.
Exactly. So we might just see the Rayquaza come in for the Metagross, and then allowing Alex to just hit another like Origin Pulse or Water Spout, knocking out that Groudon.
Yeah. So I mean, while Luca did, he did lose his Xerneas, but it would be incorrect to say that he lost his Xerneas for nothing. He gave up Xerneas in order to get Trick Room up. Maybe he's got the tools he needs to, navigate this match with Groudon in a Trick Room.
Yeah. It's very interesting to see that turn one play from Alex again. We didn't see the Rayquaza come out from the Metagross side, but I think it was a safe play on Alex's side too to not do that, seeing as the Ice Beam did go into that Metagross slot.
Yeah, so I really like that play from Luca. Yeah, he didn't catch a Rayquaza switch in, but he's looking out. He's like, all right, Groudon's in Sun against a Kyogre. I don't want Kyogre to hit me with a water move. how can I cover myself and prevent that from happening? You know,
Exactly.
so I definitely feel like that was a smart play. Yeah, he hit into an Incineroar, not a
Not very strong.
You know, not a Rayquaza switch in, but it's good foresight. That's the types of stuff you want to see.
Exactly.
So now we have Alex. He's got fake out pressure again, and you know, you fake out that Groudon, he's really kind of burning the turns of Trick Room, and you know, punishing is like, yeah, you got Trick Room up, but I'm just gonna keep forcing you to burn turns and not give you the opportunity to take advantage of it.
And even with the Cresselia, if it does have skill swap, even if that Rayquaza were to come in, the water move would still be out. So both players have been playing really well, especially with the turn 1 play again.
Yeah, so we do see, you know, the Kyogre going for an Ice Beam there. Obviously, Alex didn't know Groudon was going to be leaving the field, so he couldn't safely, you know, click a water move. That would have been such a play.
That would have been
So
a really
yeah,
good read.
you know, an Ice Beam into the Incineroar for, you know, minimal damage, but depending on what Alex has brought in the back, you know, maybe he's got something that you need a little bit of chip on Incineroar in order to finish it off.
Exactly. Especially with Cresselia not doing much damage, I don't think we have seen it do damage besides Ice Beam, which is not very effective against either Incineroar or Kyogre. So it was a pretty good play on Alex's part just to go ahead and go for that Ice Beam.
Yeah, so we do see the knockoff from Incineroar into the Cresselia, as Alex protected his Kyogre there for a double target, taking 0 damage that turn and getting a free knockoff, removing the mental herb. So that's some good information for Alex to have, knowing that I can't taunt the Cresselia to prevent it from setting Trick Room. I have to do something else.
Exactly.
I think the only thing on his team, well, Incineroar can learn taunt, but does not commonly use it. You know, maybe Tapu Koko, but you know, so maybe that's not particularly relevant in this game.
Yeah, especially seeing that it's a Groudon on the other side.
Yeah.
You don't typically want Tapu Koko versus like Groudon.
So, but Alex has been doing an extremely good job in pivoting in this match, or excuse me, not in pivoting, but in you know, punishing everything that Luca does. You know, it's like, yeah, Luca got Trick Room up, but he lost his turn, he has to do it. Now that Trick Room's up, Alex is doing really well of, you know, getting Pokemon in that force Luca to not deal damage. So it's just burning turns and setting himself, you know, Alex is setting himself up for a winning position once Trick Room expires.
We do see Incineroar use U-turn out here. So what if he does bring in Rayquaza? Does he go for is he going for the water spout or the water move here?
Yeah, so
in anticipation?
If we see this water move, and we
do
see an Origin Pulse come out, so that is a big turn there. That's going to pick up a double KO. No misses on the Origin Pulse. Yeah, that's a great turn for Alex.
Yeah, Alex has just been doing an astounding job this game so far, and Trick Room ends. Perfect timing for that Incineroar to come in.
This is looking like Incineroar is going to need to run it back the 4-1.
Put in some work.
It's going to have to do some work. But, I mean, Origin Pulse can miss. You know, like, we'll see.
Well, who knows? Maybe the Rayquaza has Earth Power too. Oh, we don't know. It just came out into the match. We do see Luca just forfeit
so
game
Luca
1.
Getting out of here. You know, I don't know what his Incineroar is holding. Is it Navy? Is it a Berry? Is it something? You know, is it a Z move? Do people still use Z Incineroar in Ultra Series? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, so
some good questions. Just
Luca recognizing not looking likely that his Incineroar is bringing back this game. Whatever it is that's holding, let's keep Alex in the dark.
Yeah, Alex has been doing really well this in the last season, the 2018 to 2019 season.
Right. Yeah.
He did really, really well. He placed really well at Worlds. He did really well at St. Louis. He's just been showing us that he still is a really good player and that he's a force to be reckoned with. Especially him being at locals, I've always seen him as a really good player and that respectable, and that I can't just take advantage of him at all. I gotta respect everything he does and every move he makes. He's never gonna give up an easy win, and he is showing that as how dominant he took that game 1.
For sure. So Luca looks like he's pretty.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. You know, he took that game. Maybe, you know, figured out what it is
He needs to do differently. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, kind of has a new game plan, and he's ready to go.
Yeah.
So,
maybe we'll see Xerneas, instead of the Trick Room setup, he'll go for the faster Xerneas Geomancy boost.
right, because he's got 2 fake out options between that Kangaskhan and Incineroar. You know,
and we didn't see Kangaskhan come out game 1, so let's see what they bring. And we see the Xerneas and the Incineroar, just like we were talking about, and the Kyogre and Metagross coming out from Alex.
yeah. So I definitely like this lead a lot more for
Luca.
for Luca. Cresselia felt in that last game very passive. You know, it's that Trick Room. Luca was not able to take advantage of the Trick Room turns, and you know, it just did minimal damage. So, you know, it could be that Alex just played around Trick Room very well, which he did. You know, as we saw, you know, keeping that fake out pressure, alternating his
And
protection
U-turning when he
everything.
needed to get that Origin pulls off. He did really well.
But I really like that Luca kind of recognizes that and goes for a slightly different game plan here. You know, he's got his fake out pressure.
Preventing the Metagross from possibly knocking out that Xerneas.
Exactly.
Not sure if that was a roll or something, because we did see Xerneas live on with the
2
sliver of health.
HP,
Yeah.
and you know, unfortunately it flinched, but then the water spout was coming out anyways.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to say what Xerneas was going to be doing. So we do see Metagross switching out here.
Into the Rayquaza.
And
Maybe calling out a Groudon switch?
that would be a gutsy play here.
Ooh, we do see the Incineroar switch
wow.
out. Is that right into Groudon? It is right into the Groudon.
Wow.
Is Alex just going to go for a Water Spout here? Which is
Whoa.
prediction?
That is... You know, Luca... Respect to Luca, right? Like, that's a good read, right?
Yeah.
He's like, alright, Metagross is the obvious target for fake out here.
I could just switch
Alex
out.
is a good player. He knows that he's not going to just let me fake out Geo.
Yeah.
And Alex is one step ahead of him. He's like, alright, yeah, I'm not just going to let him fake out Geo. I'm just going to click Water Spout right now.
Exactly.
And,
take care of
my
whatever
goodness. How punishing is that, going for that Water Spout? Alex
Wow.
picks up a KO for nothing right there.
Yeah,
He takes
just
0
taking out
damage.
one of Luca's restricteds. This
Yeah.
big momentum shift for Alex.
And so, without Groudon, I don't see a good way for Luca to deal with Metagross. Like, yeah, you can +2 Moonblast crit it, you can chip away with, you know, a fire move from Incineroar, but that's going to be a much bigger problem for Luca to deal with now that he lost his Groudon.
Yeah.
We do see no fake
No
out
fake out,
again.
but the Geomancy being set up on the Xerneas side. And we didn't see the Rayquaza Mega Evolve either. I wonder if Alex is just saving options for later.
Yeah, so it's definitely like Alex doesn't need to Mega Evolve the Rayquaza right now, but he could if he wants to. So by not, you know, he keeps it available. It's like if Metagross would be the better option,
For the
he can
late
Mega
game.
Evolve that. So we do see the Dragon Ascent coming out here. This is a -1
Straight into the Xerneas, yeah.
due to the Intimidate from Incineroar.
Doing roughly like 40%, 30, 35.
Yeah, so now we see this
Water
Water Spout
Spout.
coming
Wow.
out, and it barely
Wow.
misses the KO on Incineroar. So that's gonna give Luca a chance, right?
Yeah.
Like at the very least.
So,
Now
giving
we
him
will
something
see
to work with.
Flare Blitz coming out from the Incineroar.
Going straight into the Kyogre, doing roughly 25, 30%, not even.
Yeah, so a little bit of chip damage on Kyogre, you know, potentially puts it in range for a Moonblast from this Xerneas.
And seeing that Rayquaza's still at full health and at -1, I'm not sure if Extreme Speed will even pick up the knockout.
Right.
If he is running it on the Xerneas, allowing Xerneas to go ahead and either knock out both the Kyogre and the Rayquaza, or I don't know.
Yeah, so we do see the Kyogre switching out in favor of Incineroar. So now we, you know,
putting out more fake out pressure as he does protect his Rayquaza. Just probably setting up for the Metagross to come in safely.
Alright, and we see the Flare Blitz
And
and
Moonblast goes
the
straight
Moonblast
into
into that Rayquaza
Rayquaza,
Protect.
yeah.
That's another just
really good read.
turn
Yeah.
for Alex. You know, he's constantly like one step ahead of everything Luca's trying to do. You know,
Yeah.
and Luca's not making bad plays here. Alex is just, you know, maybe he's in his head or whatever he's doing, it's working right now.
Yeah, we do see Fake Out come out from Alex onto that Xerneas. Probably seeing another...
Oh, and a Sword
Stance, actually.
Okay.
Knowing that Flare Blitz isn't doing much, or the Darkest Lariat or knockoff or something off the Incineroar isn't doing much to the Rayquaza,
Yeah,
Alex is able
so
to just safely set up the Sword Stance.
that Sword Stance is huge, right? Because now instead of being at -1,
It's at +1.
it's at +1, which is going to be a big game changer on how much damage Extreme Speed is going to do
Exactly.
to this
To the Xerneas?
to the Xerneas.
Yeah, he might, at neutral, be able to pick it up now. At -1, I don't think he would have been able to knock out the Xerneas, especially Xerneas you see is typically a little bulkier than normal.
Right.
And the Rayquaza, so it's getting bulkier sometimes, so it really depends on the spreads. And we do see the Rayquaza just go for the Protect again. And a skill swap.
Oh, wow.
Right into the
That's a
Incineroar,
great way to
intimidating.
pull off an extra Intimidate. You know,
Yeah.
so at first it looks like, okay, Luke is protecting, Alex is protecting to, you know, not take damage while he burns that Protect. No, he actually gets punished for that as Cresselia goes for that skill swap and gets an extra Intimidate. So now Luca can switch his Incineroar back in,
survive the
back down to
E-speed,
back down to -1. Problem is, there's still a Metagross. You know, like that's not an easy mon to deal with, especially with no Groudon left.
And if it has Bullet Punch too, that will just pick up the knockout into the Xerneas. We did see the Metagross do really well at Worlds too, so I wonder if Alex is running the Bullet Punch on his set. Yeah.
Yeah, so here we do see Alex going for the Mega Evolution on his Metagross. So choosing to keep his Rayquaza in, its base form, as Xerneas actually gets the double Protect.
We do see the E-Speed go on the Xerneas. Does that meaning that... Oh, nope, we do see the Bullet Punch.
Yeah, so we see the E-Speed
safe.
and the Bullet Punch. However, the Ice Beam is going to connect with the Rayquaza. It is a -1 special defense.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
but
and
we
he
do
gets
see
the freeze. So if there's one thing that is going to help Luca run it back right now,
Is that freeze.
it's that freeze.
And we do see that Alex's Rayquaza was a little bit bulkier, so it was safe to just go ahead and double up on that.
So
Xerneas.
this, the Swords Dance Berry Rayquaza has been gaining popularity here a lot. Because, you get that Swords Dance, and now Extreme Speed is just so threatening. Xerneas is boosted up to +2 speed. Doesn't matter if I'm bopping it with a +1 or +2 Extreme Speed. However, Lucas still got this Metagross to deal with.
Yeah. Instant might switch out for that Xerneas, which we do see happening, intimidating both, then threatening that Metagross. We might see the Trick Room come out here, going ahead and threatening that
so
Metagross
now's not
too.
a bad time to go for the Trick Room. But we do see the Ray thawing out.
That heat from the
so that is now a
Incineroar.
-1. However, he does get the
And the
critical
crit.
hit, plus a
Bullet
Bullet
Punch
Punch
coming out.
into Incineroar, picks up the KO.
Knocking it out too. The Xerneas at low HP is going to come in. What we're going to see is probably another two priority moves coming to that Xerneas and just picking up the knockout, leaving Cresselia to deal with another.
This Rayquaza is at, this Xerneas is coming in. It's already weakened. It's at right around a quarter of its HP. Rayquaza and Metagross are at -1, but you don't want to take a Bullet Punch. Tough Claw's boosted Bullet Punch off of Metagross is still going to do a lot of damage, especially being super effective.
Yeah.
It's tough to see a way out. But we'll see, we've seen the skill swap and we've seen the Trick Room,
That's true.
and we've seen the Ice Beam.
Even if Alex is worried, he can just switch out his Metagross and just
Right,
get back to
reset
neutral attack.
All I'm saying is, we still have one move we haven't seen from Cresselia.
That's true.
Is an ally switch.
It could be. It very well.
Alright, so we
could
see
be.
the Ice Beam, and the
Going for
Metagross
the
not
freeze.
going for the Bullet
Oh,
Punch,
but
and
it
he
does
gets
get the
another
freeze. This Cresselia is just
Cresselia's doing everything it can
to keep
to
Luca
pull,
in the
you
game.
know, to keep Luca in the game.
Right.
And I mean, I'm a little surprised to not see Bullet Punch there coming out from the Metagross. But I suppose with how Luca has been playing his Xerneas, going for the Protect, you know, maybe he wants to work on damage on the Cresselia. You know, so that's fair.
It might be a light at the end of the tunnel for Luca
Right.
here.
But again, regardless, like, Luca's got a lot to go, but if these Ice Beam freezes can get it done, you know, there's no reason to not click that button, right?
Exactly.
Like,
If,
so we'll
if it's
see.
freezing, it's freezing, and it's working well. Luca must be feeding a lot of berries or beans to his Pokemon.
Right, so we do see Flare Blitz coming out from the Incineroar,
Just
picking up the KO
knockout.
on the Xerneas, and that's going to leave just Cresselia to try and finish off, as Cresselia goes for a skill
another
swap,
Intimidate.
gets an Intimidate down on both of the physical attackers on Alex's side of the field, but
he still has the Kyogre in the back and the Rayquaza.
Right.
With Swords Dance too, and he could. It looks like Luca can only target down one of two mons.
Right.
So
and Ice Beam is going to be doing minimal damage
To
to
three of the four.
Incineroar, to the Kyogre, and to the Metagross. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, 3 of the 4. It's an uphill battle. I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing a way out.
yeah,
And so
we do see Luca just
Luca go for the
forfeit to Alex. Alex now being 2-0, going for the rest of the tournament, seeing if he can pick up another brick at the end. Yeah, but good game to both of these players, showing their talent. A really good game on Alex's side, just reading Luca and what he was doing. So
All right.
yeah,
Well, don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back with an interview with our winner.
Alex Underhill.
Alright, Pokemon fans, I'm joined at the desk by Alex Underhill, our winner of the round 2 match. So, Alex, everybody's question, right? Game 2, turn 1. What's going through your head? Because that was a huge turn for you.
Yeah, so basically, with the Radon or the Ray Ogre versus Zerndon matchup, as soon as one person can nail one of the other person's restricteds, the game just kind of ends there. As we saw in Game 1, getting rid of the Xerneas on turn 1, flinch or not, just meant that I was going to have a much easier time with my Kyogre, just being able to beat the opposing Groudon, and like my Rayquaza, for example.
For
but
sure.
in the second game, I actually expected a different adaptation than what he did. My play still looked like really good, but it wasn't what I was calling. I instead thought that the Incineroar was going to Flare Blitz into my Metagross while switching Groudon in for the Xerneas. That way you get the Sun boosted Flare Blitz. I had shown in Game 1 I wasn't switching into Ray, and I thought maybe they would try to get rid of my Metagross turn 1. Whilst keeping Xerneas. In hindsight, that play that he did make was pretty safe, except for the water spout.
Water spout.
And as he told
very
me,
punishing. Punishing.
Yeah, as he told me, he was like, I was this close to clicking Moonblast. And my honest thought is that I think pretty much anybody in that position is this close to clicking Moonblast. Not to detriment from his skill level.
Right.
It's just that's just kind of how the matchup is. Sometimes on turn 1 there's going to be a big read. I've actually not played Ray-Ogre like at all the entire format, and so I've been a Zerndon player for most of it, and I've been on the other side of that, and I know that it's like really annoying when you're just like, okay, this turn 1 is a mess.
Right.
If I lose a legendary on turn 1, it's going to swing so hard.
And that's part of what happens here. One bad turn can be very punishing. Because the power creep, in these restricted formats is huge.
Absolutely, yes.
So the other thing that I want to talk to you about was in Game 1, you got the KO on Xerneas early.
Yeah.
But the other thing that we were really interested in was how you managed Trick Room. Like, Luca got Trick Room up against you, and then you killed all of his turns, without him really being able to do meaningful damage. So like, how do you plan that, and how you're going to, because you were making good switches, getting everything in. He was attacking, double attacking into protects a lot, so you took minimal damage. Are you making reads, or are you just playing safe right there?
That was just playing safe. A lot of those times, if he doubled into the slot that didn't protect, I don't think I would have been punished severely. The things that I was covering for in the end game, and actually some of my plays might not have made a ton of sense in Game 2 because I was also covering for things, was one, in Game 1, I was playing around Helping Hand and Gravity. Were the main things that I was like, this Cresselia might have.
Right, because we didn't know its full moveset,
yes,
obviously.
It just showed Ice Beam and then Trick Room, and I guess it did show Skill Swap at some point. But the thing that I was fearing was that, Groudon with a Helping Hand might do way too much damage to my Kyogre. The Incineroar hadn't shown if it was Z-move or not, and I know that a Helping Hand Malicious Moonsault might be able to take out my Kyogre, which would also be rather scary. And then in Game 2 on the Cresselia, I was actually covering an ally switch. I was very afraid of losing to an ally switch.
Here, right? Like.
So that's the reason that my Metagross got frozen and that I didn't just bullet punch and end the game right there, is because I thought, okay, I mean, he really hasn't shown it yet, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to just Iron Head the Cresselia right now, get damage on it while the other target goes for the Xerneas or something like that. I don't remember exactly the position.
Except it does hurt 10% of the time, as
yeah.
we saw. So, one last thing we saw in chat. People were saying, "Oh, no pop off. You're not going to side Flare Blitz to thaw your Metagross out." Did that occur to you? Would you ever do that seriously?
I thought to do it, but I also thought it was a bit rude. I was like, like this game is very over. I'm about to 4-0. Like, I don't want to go that far.
No need to go for the bad manners.
And I also don't know if I would have lived. I don't know my calcs at all.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Alex. It was great watching you play, and good luck the rest of the day.
Thanks so much.